Right. In the bottom right, it is the tyrant, the killer, Jaedong. And in the top left, the ultimate weapon, the most winningest. That's an actual word. It just sounds dumb. Okay, player in StarCraft history. It is Flash. Possibly known as the top 2 players in the history of StarCraft, and I'm pretty sure you would get a heated argument as to which one would take that #1 slot. I think most people would lean towards Flash, but I haven't followed their history from the beginning. So this map, like the textures on this map, look pretty damn good for Brood War at least. Like, I like the look of it. I guess I'm just I have 1990 standards now, so. Alright. We do see... No, he's just going to be making the barracks here. Jaedong, on the other hand, he's sending out a couple drones. I assume one of these is for a hatchery and maybe one of these is for a scout. So nothing too out of the ordinary here. Alright. What are they doing that requires 400 APM? Well, StarCraft, and even Brood War even more so, but in StarCraft 2, think of the first 2 or 3 minutes of a StarCraft match like the first few minutes before the whistle blows in football. And I don't care if we're talking about freedom or non-freedom football. Do you not stretch? Do you not warm up? Do you not move around a bit before the game starts? Or do you just jump right into it with absolutely no warm-up? It's the same thing. Both these players are required to play at hundreds, sometimes over 500 actions per minute as things get going. And you don't want to have a cold start, let's put it that way. A little bit of an exchange there. We'll get the vision on the barracks. He knows this is not going to be a command center first. That's all the information he's got. But on the other side, Flash is going to get the scout on the hatchery. The third hatch as well. The lack of gas is going to be apparent too in just a moment. And this SCV going to have all that vision. It looks like we have a macro game on our hands. Alright. Flash, on the other hand, he's got his depots lined up here in a location where they won't get in the way of his production. No gas yet. Looks like he's really focusing on that economy, and so is Jaedong. The pretty customary builds here coming out. The gas just now being taken. I expect Flash will take his in a little while. Looks like it's going to be that bio opener. And on the other side, Jaedong, pretty likely. Jaedong pretty well known for his mutas, I would say. So I would not be the least bit surprised to see a mutalisk opener. And then work his way into the more customary lurkers, defilers, ultralists, whatever he sees fit to be able to secure that late game. And Flash, on the other hand, will probably see the bio up until the ground defenses become so strong that he's kind of forced into a mech transition. That seems to be the most customary way these players and just players of these races in general like to play out the matchup. And then it all just kind of comes down to control. Who can take what bases, who's able to get more production, who's able to get the better engagements, get those dark swarms, the irradiates, the tank placements, the spider mines, anything like that. On paper, either of these players could easily take the match. So, alright, he's actually opting for the Zergling speed first. So we're going to see some sort of Zergling flood. He's adding on. Let's see what these eggs are making. He's got a layer as well. Okay. So he just wants to have that Zergling speed. He has a solid drone count as well. Nothing over the top. But he's definitely not intending to go for some sort of all-in attack. He's got the lair. He's going to have Zergling speed. It looks like he's going to be working towards a third. Well, at least a third mining location somewhat soon. Flash has a bunker. Does he have his academy yet? It's in production, as well as +1. So the 2 rags build. The cookie cutter. The usual. We're on the other side. The Spire is on the way, and in that sneaky location where there's a chance it doesn't get scanned. Flash is going to suspect it. He knows the timings. He's Flash. He's defined some of the timings. But he might not be able to confirm it, depending on where the scans are exactly placed. He'll know there's a lair, but whether it's mutas or maybe straight into lurkers will still be up in the air. Alright. We see a drone sneaking its way up to that other empty spawning location. He's going to be relying on the units produced there to defend this hatch. And, of course, Terran, unlike in StarCraft 2, a lot less mobile. Dropships take a while to get to. Marines, just in general, aren't as effective. So taking bases like this as a Zerg player is a lot safer than in StarCraft 2, just because of the nature of Zerg units and the nature of Terran units. And how difficult it is to actually attack a base that's located in this type of area. Alright. Jaedong has almost 900 gas banked up. He's going to be getting 9 mutas right off the bat. And then, it seems like he's going to be opting for the hatchery as well. Oh my god, the timing. Flash is moving out, putting on some pressure before these mutas can come out, ideally. And it looks like he's going straight towards that location. He suspects it. He knows it's very likely to be there. But Jaedong coming in with a nice backstab. The Firebats will stem back alongside the Marine. But this is not an insignificant number. And he's going to go straight for the turret as well. The Firebat's going to do a lot of damage, but losing the turrets means he doesn't have the defenses against these Mutalisks. This actually brought the entire Terran army back. So a pretty big win for Jaedong here. This means Flash doesn't really have the opportunity to move out and pressure a third hatchery before the mutas are hitting. Now he has to have the Marines back at home. He lost the turret. He has to rebuild everything. So Jaedong just set him back a minute or two at the very least with that very well-timed backstab. He had the vision from the Overlord. He knew when those units were moving out, so he already had his Zerglings in position. Yeah, one of the turrets will go down. Definitely not. You need multiple turrets against Mutalisks, especially in this number. He's up to 10 or 11 now. Maybe not all here yet, but they will be very soon. And Jaedong, ooh, Flash not underestimating the power of Mutalisks, as 4 turrets are already up, and he's adding even more on. Alright, range is nearly finished. Going to give those Marines a lot more effectiveness. The +1 attack has completed as well, so these mutas don't want to fight head-on, but knowing Jaedong, they won't have to. On the other side, do we have a Hydralisk done? Lurker aspect is halfway done, so we can get those more stable defenses. Once Flash finally puts together a big enough army to move out, you do need Lurkers to deal with it. Yeah, he's got some Hydralisks. Looks like he's building some over here as well. He wants those Lurkers to protect his expansion. I don't believe he has a Nidus Canal yet. A Queen Nest is on the way, going up to that Hive tech. And over here, just Sunkens to protect the front. Flash is finally moving out. He feels confident he has the defenses back at home. Do we have any Lurkers yet on the other side? He's almost done. Yes, Lurker aspect has completed. He can make those eggs. And just in time as Flash is starting to move out. Flash is just now building his factory. He has no access to any other tech. Jaedong is trying to buy as much time as possible. 3 Lurkers should be more than enough to keep this army from coming through this choke point. Alright, the gas is being mined. He has access to 3 gases now, which is a very significant amount. He can tech up and build all these high-tech units. Over this beautiful icy pool here. This map is very nice looking for something that's probably over a decade old. On a game that's 2 decades old. It's actually probably the best looking Brood War map I've seen yet. Reminds me of Frost in SC2, the one that everybody played for like 3 years. Alright, the Lurkers are locked down over here. Didn't he have 3? I'm not sure where the 3rd one ended up. Maybe it's moving around the map. But his mutas are flying into the main. You see more supply depots protected by the turrets. The Marines will stem to intercept, but the mutas not having anything to do with that. Let's see if he tries to take anything out. He doesn't have any upgrades on the mutas. He's not upgrading either. Another hatch on the way. Is the Hive done? The Hive is nearly completed, and then we're going to see that later game tech, the Defilers, probably the Ultralisks. Anything else? Maybe Guardians. Who knows? I'm just naming the units. I have yet to see a Devourer. I'd love to see a Devourer. I'm not sure if they're ever made in this matchup, but I have yet to see one, so... Oh my god, that stack. As the mutas... very intimate with one another. Flash is hanging out. He's still not confident he can press through, and he's dealing with these mutas at home. So what is his transition? Does he have the double star? 1-star port, another barracks on the way. So just the 1-star port. He's opting for tanks instead of just massing up science vessels. Alright, some Scourge up here to be able to deal with any dropships coming in as well. The mutas cutting off as many units as possible. Jaedong now knows this is moving out. The Defiler Mound has completed. Consume is on the way. Those Dark Swarms and Lurkers are the wombo combo that every Zerg player wants and every Zerg player needs when you get to this point in the game. Alright, the Lurkers will step forward. Ooh, 2 very unlucky Marines getting caught out in front. As Flash is knocking on the front door. But that's so many Lurkers. Is he actually going to try to press through? He does have tanks. Do they have siege mode completed? Siege mode is just now finished. He's got the science vessels, and the siege will begin. Alright, do we see any scans? He has a science vessel on the way. The Lurkers are cutting off the reinforcements, though. I think Flash has realized something like this could be happening. Jaedong not really paying attention yet. Oh, there we go. And he's moving forward. It looks like Flash is just going for it. The Lurkers will retreat. Alright, is there energy on the Defilers? He doesn't have the Consume yet for the Dark Swarm. But Flash is starting to knock on the front door, but these Lurkers cutting off the reinforcements means Flash's push will not have any additional strength when it gets any closer. Does he have the Irradiate yet? I believe he's finished it. I have to assume he's not researching it right now. He just, yeah, it looks like it was just used on at least one of these. Oh, a Nidus Connect. And we have the Dark Swarm. This will force the retreat out of Flash. Jaedong will hold on to his base. Another Dark Swarm will actually push Flash all the way back. We see the Scourge continuing to patrol around. Flash looking for an opportunity to hit some of these other bases. More Lurkers are going to be burrowing on the bridge here. And he won't be able to push through. The tank will help out, but it slows everything down. Alright, Flash now taking a third base, realizing there's no realistic way to finish this game right now. He has to go into that heavier tech. More science vessels. An additional starport is being produced. More tanks. Maybe even a full mech transition. It doesn't look like he's going that direction yet. He's just continuing down the Bile Road. Ooh, a lot of Marines over here. Jaedong not really paying attention. He's busy microing on this side. As Lurkers will burrow on either side. Flash moving back, but losing a lot of his units. Now moving forward on the eastern front. A Dark Swarm, a scan. We'll get a bead on where that Defiler is. He's going in for the Irradiate. He doesn't have the energy, though. And some more Marines will be the casualty. And Irradiate on the Defiler. A nice one there. He has enough for one more swarm, it looks like. And he's going to use it. He tried to. He consumed some of his Zerglings, but he didn't get the swarm off. And Flash will flank around. He's still driving back Flash's forces on the left side. The supplies are now 136 to 115. A very healthy Zerg supply considering the unit composition. On the other side, we got some more Scourge on the way. Upgrades are continuing. Flash is at 1-1, but I expect he's upgrading more. +2 is just now about to finish. I'm not sure if he has a second Engie Bay in here. He's finished his third, though. Scourge continuing to patrol. As Flash is trying to put pressure on, but Jaedong is deflecting him at every turn. Alright. The Lurker's moving forward to clean up this army. He may lose one, doesn't look like it. And the Zerglings will shred everything else. He completely pushes Flash back from the southern portion of the map. And what? You can land up here? Well, well, well. As Flash has taken the high ground. So now Jaedong's going to have a little bit more trouble dealing with this. This is not an easily breakable location. I'm not sure if that Lurker's fine. He doesn't have any vision on the high ground here. He needs to bring something down. But Flash continuing to move forward. He found a location to finally do damage, but the mutas come back. They're working on the tanks. Oh, we got an Irradiate right over the top. The Scourge will come in. Won't quite be able to take out the science vessels. Jaedong isn't moving his mutas. All the mutas die. I'm not sure if that was just one or all of them, but all of the mutas are dead now. That's all I know for sure. But Jaedong has taken another base on the other side. This base has been, it's still mining, but not a significant amount. I guess he could keep Dark Swarming his workers or something. Flash will take out the base on the left side, but a big army is moving right up through the center. Flash has a handful of Marines here, but that's a lot of Lurkers. These Zerglings just wanted to die, I guess, but, ooh. The spines coming from every angle, ripping through the Terran army. But Flash still moving ahead over on the right side. There is a Dark Swarm. I'm not sure what that was protecting, but it looks like Flash went for the front. Alright, the science facility out in front. He already has the Irradiate. He doesn't need it on the ground. It's just taking up space. Ooh, the Plague. He will rip through all of these units because they have no HP left. He's got to be careful about getting caught out in the Plague. But a lot of science vessels. The constant Irradiates. He's working on these Lurkers. He's going to force a few back. Doesn't want to go into the concave there. A lot of Scourge coming up. He needs these science vessels. He micros away. Every single one of the Scourge gets gunned down. Not a single one connected there. As Flash moves over to the left side, he's got a force on the right. He's got another base coming up at the north. Jaedong is holding on to 4, going on 5 bases as well. Does he have any Ultralisk yet? I don't believe he does. It looks like he's confident with this Defiler Lurker style, but the science vessels are very heavy in number. He has the energy, gets a couple more Radiates. 3 Lurkers are going to go down, but there's still plenty to cut this army off. He needs some more Scourge. It looks like the Lurker spines will shred through. The base was forced to, well, killed or canceled. It doesn't really matter, but the Scourge will come up and cut that science vessel count down. Even more Scourge. He doesn't have anything to protect these vessels. 2 more will go down. And some of Flash's critical units will be removed. Now it's 113 to 126 supply. We have a Plague on the high ground, but that won't quite kill the tank. A few mutas will finish the job. Alright. Just 2 science vessels left now for Flash, at least. I'm sure he's producing more. Yeah, he's got more in production, but his base actually being attacked on the right side. He has a Nidus Canal. He can focus it down. The Lurkers are forced to move forward. A Plague was used, but the Defiler... Oh, wait, the Defiler is still alive. It doesn't have energy for anything else, though. Will he focus down the Nidus Canal? Not quite. That's a lot of medics with this. But Lurkers are coming up from the north as well. He's targeting the hatch. The hatch will fall, but all of these units are going to be the price to pay. Ooh. Ugh. Ugh. Show me where it hurts. And Flash losing a lot of supply to take out that base, bringing him to 110. Jaedong's at 105. Pretty damn even. But it's just Marines here, but the Zerglings are going to be enough. Ooh, the mutas will cut off the dropship. Will kill everything coming out of it. Will be forced to retreat, I guess. I guess 1 medic and 2 Marines is enough when they have these upgrades. He's at 3-1 right now. Continuing to work his way forward. Actually, he's not upgrading +2 armor quite yet. Another group of Marines and medics are moving forward. The Plague on the high ground. He will be able to clean this up eventually. Zerglings moving forward as well. A Dark Swarm underneath in kind of an awkward location, but it will keep him alive for the moment. The Zerglings, unfortunately, cannot climb their way up this hill, but the mutas can help. Does he have any Irradiates for them? We'll have to see. As the game is kind of stalled out, Jaedong scrambling. He has bases everywhere, but Flash is putting heavy pressure onto him. Where at the same time, Flash has 4 solid bases. His macro is top-notch, but he can't quite break through. Jaedong always seems to have just enough, or even if he does break through, eventually he gets surrounded and slaughtered with what units he did commit with. But Jaedong has established this base in the bottom left. It does have access to another gas. There's a hatchery on the right, but Flash is putting a lot of units together as he swings over to the right side. You have a lot of Lurkers at the front here. He can't quite hit the hatch from... I guess if he was at the very edge, but then the Lurkers could hit him. But I'm just going forward. We got some Irradiates at the front. The Dark Swarm helping out as well. The Defiler will be burnt, and it will actually kill the Lurker as well, unfortunately. But Flash still unable to break that location. He's going to set his sights on the southern portion. Some Ultralisks have completed. They do have chitinous plating. Now these Marines are no pushovers. They have the +3. The medics aren't able to do enough, though. The science vessels have been plagued as well. That doesn't mean they can't cast their spells, but it means they're at heavy risk. The Scourge are coming up behind as Jaedong has this very complicated unit composition that's not very easy to deal with head-on. Another Irradiate. Might want to move that out of there, but the Marines are being absolutely slaughtered. That Ultralisk paying the price, but it's now 130 to 140 supply. But these units of Jaedong just seem to be so cost-effective. There is an engineering bay. Scouting. I guess he doesn't want the armor upgrades. Armor's overrated. 3-2. That's good enough for him. But the game has slowed down a bit as Jaedong has put together the units he needs defensively. and finally is going to be going on the attack, whereas Flash has to do the opposite. That is the nature of things. Now, those Ultralists, remember, they don't do splashdown. We've got a Dark Swarm in the front, but he still has some room to retreat. A Plague comes out. The Science Vessels are still there. The Scourge are gunned down. The Swarm's continuing to press forward, but Flash's rally point is keeping him alive for the moment. It's 150 to 150 supply. He still has units and a tank on the high ground. Some Lurkers are moving forward. Some more Ultras moving up. He still has Dark Swarms, but the tank count is growing tremendously. And these Ultras are going to go down without too much cost. And Jaedong goes on the attack for what is pretty much the first time and is repelled somewhat easily. There's still a Defiler under here as well. Does he have one more swarm? He does for his 0 units, unfortunately. But now Flash, he's been on the defense. He can finally step forward again, it looks like. Jaedong is now on every other base on the map besides the one on the very far western corner. He still has 155 supply against Flash's 171. The Science Vessel count, 5, 6. Ooh, but the Scourge are coming in to knock this down a little. Get some good irradiates. 4 irradiates on these units. It's going to soften up the... If they stand together, it doesn't help. All right? Get him, boy. Get him, boy. All right. This one very, very brave Marine attacking the 4 Ultralists and Lurkers there. All right, the Marine Firebat squad. He's going to be able to target down some of the buildings, but the Ultras and Lynx come back to clean it up. This will pull Jaedong back for a bit. He is set up over on the left side as well, but Flash, his main thrust forward, is going towards the south now. That's not enough there already. Jaedong is putting his forces together. He's trying to consolidate everything because a very strong push supported by many tanks, but the Scourge are coming in. One Science Vessel goes down. He needs to try to get as many as possible to get these Dark Swarms off. The Ultralists are coming through, but the tank count, they have +1. Not the greatest upgrades, but it's enough. It's enough. He's pushing through. All right, the tanks will unsiege. Almost, that's at least 14 tanks in here. And without Dark Swarm, I don't even know what Jaedong thought he was going to do there. But it was very little, as evidenced by the fact all his units are real fucking dead. All right. The tanks are continuing to move forward. Where are the Defilers? He's got a couple in the back, but one Irradiate comes out. He doesn't have any others. The Scourge were used well to take out those Science Vessels. Yeah, and the Dark Swarms are going to change the dynamic of this fight completely. A Plague as well. But the Marines are, well, not Marauders. They don't have Marauders. But the Medics are pressing through. The Ultra is doing their best, but this tank push looks like it's going to be too much, and he's going to lose this base. Flash with his reinforcements moving over towards the right side as well, and Jaedong is suddenly going to be left with only a handful of mining bases, which sounds like a lot, but it really isn't in the grand scheme of things. Now, at the same time, Flash has mined out of 2 bases. He's working on his 3rd. He still has 2 pretty full bases. He still has a lot of money to be able to spend here. Jaedong looking a little bit strapped for gas at the moment. The base on the right side will be defended for now. The tank push on the left is the real scary portion of all of this. A couple good Dark Swarms and Plague. Defilers can crush this, but you have to get the Defilers close enough. That's the danger. All right. Another set of tanks. How many factories does he have now? 1. 1? Really? He just has 1 factory? Okay. All right. Like, how did he get that many? Has he just been banking up tanks like a Blitzkrieg style over here? But it looks like Jaedong's ready to break this. Flash is bringing in reinforcements from the north, but Jaedong wants to crush this beforehand, or at least keep the army in 2 pieces. He's got a flank coming in. Will Flash come down? He's bringing the rest of the units down. We have some Dark Swarms on top of the tanks. He's going to be able to take this out. Flash scrambling to cut this off, but instead he's going to let the army get cut off on that right side and move his army to the middle of the map. And Jaedong's going to be forced to wrap all the way back around. He's down to 121 supply. Flash is moving into a more critical position. There's no base over there. That doesn't matter. Jaedong retaking it, but if he loses the bases on the right side, that could be game. Are there any Defilers here? There is 1 Defiler. He will be able to get a Dark Swarm on the frontal tanks. He got a Plague as well. We could see another Dark Swarm with some consumes. I'm not sure. I think he targeted down the Defiler, though, with some of these units. The Ultralists are trying to move forward, but there's still a lot of tanks at the back. Oh, without those Defilers, these fights become more and more difficult for Jaedong. The medics are... Yeah. This tank push has continued. Well, it doesn't really hit anything, but it keeps them away from this gas geyser, and that's actually a pretty big impact. Looks like the Nidus... He has double Nidus now to be able to move these units around. Another... Well, an Ultralisk will be hit with the Irradiates, and another one. How much energy does he have? Enough. His Flash is in this choke point. He's cutting off the circulation between the bases. And right now, Jaedong is bleeding out. Alright, 116 supply. He needs the Defilers. Without the Defilers, he cannot fight these tanks. Ooh, he used the Irradiate. One Dark Swarm comes up. We have another one. And another one on the edge of the tanks. It doesn't cover all of them. He's closing the distance. He has a lot of Zerglings. Pretty much Jaedong throwing everything into this. He's bringing reinforcements in, but I think it might just be a little bit too much. His Flash continues to stream forward. He still has the Science Vessels. Actually, another wave of reinforcements. And he's coming through the Dark Swarm at a very inopportune time. Jaedong reinforcing perfectly. The Ultra is trying to be targeted down, splitting off, trying to deal with the Zerglings from every angle. Looks like this Ultra should go down. Another Ultra comes up. Some of the Science Vessels will be taken out. He irradiates the Mutalisks as well. But at the same time, Flash, a drop comes in, takes out one of Jaedong's new bases. He can't be everywhere at once, but Flash seems to be very close. It's now 136 to 100 supply. Jaedong slowly but surely being ground down by just the cost efficiency of the tanks and the vessels here. Some more consumes as well. Oh, God. Get in the Nidus! He dodges the Irradiates, but... Oh! And the Erasers are coming in, but they get sniped off. Maybe a little bit, too. Maybe jumping the gun just a bit there was Flash. Nope. Oh, no! And he got his Defiler irradiated. Jaedong needs every single unit. He's running quite low on the gas. Flash, on the other hand, is still at a very high income. He's mining out of his third, though. But he's lifted his... Nope. He made another command center and it's down at the bottom left. So Flash is back in full mining capacity. Whereas Jaedong has been just trying to hold on for 5 or 6 minutes now. The Dark Swarms come out. This is Jaedong's last stand as the reinforcements are coming up. He needs more Defilers. I don't know where they are, but the tanks are not all sieged. They're still pretty good unsieged against these Ultralisks. Where are the reinforcements? What does Jaedong have left? He's at 99 supply. The Nidus Canals not really being used. He's trying to get into them, but Flash is still pressing forward. Where are the Defilers? He needs the Defilers. Are there any more Lurkers? Is there anything left? But the tanks are sieging. The Dark Swarms are going to run out. How much energy does he have here? This army will be cleaned up. He gets a consume. The Marines are going for the snipe. He gets a plague on a huge chunk of the Marines, but in the end, does it even matter? As Flash is just continuing to press forward. He's building a command center at the front of the base. The confidence is high here for Flash. He's got 1,500 minerals in the bank. He's trying to spend it all. Jaedong desperately coming back. This should be the last attack. If he cannot break through here, big Dark Swarm on top of the army. And is Jaedong going to force Flash back? I don't know if that command center is going to quite finish. There was an attack on the left side. It didn't actually get to the SCVs, though, unfortunately. Jaedong's going to be forced back. This base did fall. A little bit of long-distance mining happening. There's a tank at the top. There's nothing to really deal with it. Jaedong, he's holding on, but his grip is slipping. And it's very apparent that Flash is just taking these fights and he's winning them. The Zerglings are very effective, but not effective enough. A drop comes into one of the only real mining bases left of Jaedong. As he's desperately trying to mine from the bottom left. He will cut this off. He will maybe force this base to lift, but he's lost the right side of the map. He still has some minerals in the north, but they're starting to run dry. Interesting looking Nidus Canal there. He should be able to clean up the drop. He didn't lose the base, but it does seem like he is losing the game. A flag comes out on these siege tanks. Jaedong trying to find places to mine from and finding them scarce. The tanks are still there. There doesn't seem to be any Dark Swarms. The Defilers are trailing behind. There comes one. But not really in a location it needs to be. Jaedong trying to hold on. Another Plague comes out. But once again, it's been the story of the last few minutes where Jaedong has held on, but he has had very little opportunity to strike back. Now, he's still at 100 supply. Like, he still has a lot, like, a few good Defilers can still change any of these fights. But will they change the outcome of the war? Because right now Flash is cozy in. He's eliminated one of the bases. He's knocking on the door of another. The third base on this side is mining out. Looks like Jaedong finally finds a way to get damage done on the other side. He forces the SCVs away. And the base to lift as well. So Jaedong does have some mining going on. But Flash is still at 141 supply. That Defiler is in harm's way right now. We see a Dark Swarm used. A nice Plague as well. Alright, the Zergling's still holding this down. Flash is mined out of 3 bases. He's about to be mined out of 4. If Jaedong can just hold on a little bit longer... Okay, wait a second. If Jaedong can hold on a little bit longer, he still has bases to mine from. He's cutting off the reinforcements. A lot of tanks are being cut off. Wait a second. Are there any more Dark Swarms, though? The tank line goes so deep. Flash is starting to run out of minerals. He's cutting off all the reinforcements here as Jaedong. He's killed a lot of these tanks, but the Zerglings are starting to thin out. The tank push is continuing forward. Flash is at 132 supply. Jaedong at 107. It's still very much within reach. This is a very awkward situation. This is something that's happening right now. This is the state of the game at the moment. I think it describes it pretty well. A nice Dark Swarm, but he doesn't have it for the entire tank line. Another one coming forward. He needs a couple more of these to break through. He's losing a couple tanks, but it's not quite enough to break this entire line. Jaedong is holding on. Flash is doing his best. He's actually down to 109 supply. The Dark Swarms mean he's going to lose most of these tanks. And wait a second, Jaedong is breaking his way through. There's still 3 tanks, but Jaedong is mining. The Zerglings on this left-hand side. Flash is losing SCVs. He's losing mining. Jaedong has held on with an iron grip for so long. Has he done it? Flash is mining from this base, but this is a very precarious situation in every sense of the word. There's still a Defiler. There's still Dark Swarms. They're on top of the tanks. A handful of Zerglings on this side will actually take out another tank as well. The Plague gonna help out a lot. Flash is down to 95 supply. There's enough for one more swarm. Not quite, doesn't use it. I think it's 100 energy. But Flash pushes forward with what seems to be a very small army compared to what he's had in the past. This is still fucking happening. A scan forward. Jaedong. Oh, there's another army on that left side. Is there anything there to defend? There's an Ultralisk and some Zerglings and another Ultra down here. It should be enough as Flash is getting pushed back. 93 to 84 supply. Jaedong has been down 60 supply at some points in this game, sometimes even more. But now it's nearly even. Actually, Jaedong, for the first time in a long time, is going to be taking the supply lead. A lot of this is in the SCVs that are being killed. He still has enough SCVs to mine from if he does transfer. Wait, does he? He's actually lost so many SCVs. He's down to like 15 or 20. Well, besides the ones that are running around here, but now Flash's army. GG! Jaedong holds on! For 34 minutes, there was only one real attack from Jaedong, but he held on to enough of the map that Flash just couldn't break through. Just barely enough. He mined out 4 bases, but he made it so Flash couldn't get a 5th. Just barely. He was knocking on the front door the entire time, but Jaedong never let him inside. You didn't think that. I thought Flash was going to win. You thought Flash was going to win. Jaedong might have at some point thought Flash was going to win, but he held on.